Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Emilia Janisz. I'm the Director of Strategy of the European Nuclear Society. And we have a fantastic pleasure today to welcome all of you to this webinar, a webinar which will be dedicated to beautiful applications and activities of the energy. Discover the beauty of nuclear. This is the title of our webinar. The webinar is focus on career opportunities and also to present you the not only job opportunities, but also the profile of energy. Therefore, I invited different experts from energy. So we have here with us recruiters, Nancy Roggeveen, corporate recruiter of energy. Together with Bregje Crum, she will present the profile of energy. So this is the first part of our workshop, of our webinar today. And further, we will have also presentations from Rogier Gervers and Jelmer van Schagen, both also recruiters, but from energy and from PALLAS. You will discover what PALLAS is, also thanks to Nancy's and Bregje presentations. And so the idea is to first let energy experts to present their company, and further we invite you all to put the questions first in the Q&A, in the chats, in the Q&A session. So first we will have the presentations, and then we will have 25 minutes around for your interaction with the recruiters. So please use this opportunity. You can post already your questions in the chat. This webinar we organize in the framework under the NN2+ project. NN2+ project is an EU-funded project which talks about attractiveness of nuclear and retention of the interest of the employees in nuclear. So I think it's also fantastic to learn that this framework allows us to bring you closer to the nuclear sector and let you discover the beauty of nuclear. So thank you very much for all of you attending this. This webinar will be recorded, and we hope to have your questions and your participation active during the session. So Nancy, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Emilia, for introducing and, of course, inviting Energy PALLAS to talk about our company. So I will start off, and as mentioned by Emilia, my colleague Bregje Crum is trainee at Energy. She will follow, and we have some time left to do a chat session, which will be joined by my colleagues. So maybe to start off, just gonna see if the second slide works. Fortunately, doesn't. Yeah, there it is. Great, good. So Energy, the nuclear research group, we have about 800 colleagues working for our company on 2 different locations. The first one is in Petten, which is the larger location. The other one is Arnhem, where we have about 80 consultants working for us. I started working at a company about 5 years ago. We had about around 500 colleagues back then, so we grew a lot, but we are expected to grow up to 1,200 employees in the next couple of years. So a lot of opportunities coming up. Right now, we are global market leader in producing nuclear medical isotopes, and about 30,000 patients per day depend on our medical substances for treatment. The HFR, the high flux reactor, is built in the early 1960s. So we have over 60 years experience right now in research and innovation. And at the end of this year, we will merge with PALLAS. PALLAS is the PALLAS program is responsible for designing and building new PALLAS reactor, which will be located in Petten. Right now, about 80 experts working on the PALLAS program, but also some combined with collaboration around 300. So a lot of experts working each day to meet our goals. Of course, we have a vision and a mission at our company. Our vision is for nuclear technology to provide solutions for health and energy. And our mission is to develop and deliver nuclear medicine products and contribute to energy solutions. We focus on 3 main topics. First one is health. The second one is energy. and the third one is innovation. So we believe that advanced nuclear solutions will create future breakthroughs in healthcare, and nuclear will also support creation of clean, sustainable energy solutions. It's our responsibility to ensure safety of the entire nuclear life cycle, and we advance nuclear solutions in the interest of people and planet. But this means we need to have a unique nuclear infrastructure, which we have, of course. We have the molybdenum production facility at our location, different radiological laboratories. We have, of course, the high flux reactor, waste management facilities, and also the hot cell laboratories. So just a little bit of images of what's going on in our company. To continue with that, we do, of course, do research, but we also have products and a lot of expertise. And just to point out a few, one important business unit at our company is the business unit consultancy and services. We have about 120 colleagues working for that unit, and they provide services for safe and reliable operations of reactors and nuclear facilities, but also radioactive waste handling and radiation protection. And to make sure that our own personnel is educated, but we have a lot of experts within the company. We call it the academy. So we train our own personnel, but we also train personnel from external clients. And what we do on medical and industrial radioisotopes, we have the HFR, so the high flux reactor, which is one of the few reactors in the world which can actually make medical isotopes. And in addition, the reactor is also used for the irradiation of industrial isotopes and research into new nuclear energy, such as thorium reactors. And we do a lot on research and innovations. So I've mentioned it before, over 6 years of experience, and we see that as the solid foundation for our research programs and new innovations. One topic on research is the demand for new nuclear medicine. The demand grows to treat cancer, and that's why we focus on developing and modifying the production chain from existing and new radiopharmaceutical products. You can see an image of a few of the isotopes that we currently produce. The biggest one is molybdenum. That's our biggest production right now. But as mentioned, there's a lot of demand for new medical isotopes, and that's why maybe it's good to show the next slide. We are at this point building the field lab. The field lab is being built this year, will be ready at the end of the year, and we will be running productions in the summer 2024. And field lab is there to support medical product development. It's also, of course, again, a unique nuclear infrastructure, and it's helping with the supply of promising medical isotopes. So a lot of collaborations with hospitals as well. And when you look at the future infrastructure on our location, you can see that, I don't know if you can see the arrow, but you can see the high flux reactor in front of the picture, which will be there for many years because of course, when PALLAS is running, the HFR has to run as well. So it would take a lot of years to decommission, of course. But in the future, this is going to be the nuclear health center and also the PALLAS reactor and the logistic building. Support buildings, office building, and the field lab will be there at the end of this year. So that's a really big, interesting milestone for our company. Just a design of the PALLAS buildings in the future. So just to have a little bit of an idea how it's going to look like in, well, say 2030. I do actually have a next slide, which is the timeline of the PALLAS reactor. So as you can see, in 2013 we started it up, the project. So it's been going on for about 10 years now. And the exciting stage is coming up. So we are now in the detailed design phase. And also construction, you can see already construction going on our location. So that gets people from nuclear really excited, and also from, of course, construction management, etc. So the plan is to start up in 2030. So it's coming up, but we have a lot of years to go. And that's when me and my colleague recruiters come into place to meet all these goals and to do all the things we do and we want to do in the future. We of course need a lot of professionals to join our company. I just wanted to tell you there are a few ways to start at our company if you're a young professional. We do have a traineeship at NRG. Which is an 18-month program, but I think Bregje is going to share a little bit on her experience as a trainee. You can also start as a consultant or as an engineer, or if you're doing a PhD, you can start as a lead scientist. Interesting to hear maybe that last year we had 121 vacancies that we did fulfill. And about 22% of that was fulfilled by internal flow. So there's a lot of room internal to grow for people. So if you take a look at all the colleagues, on average, everybody's working for 15 years for our company now. And we feel that the combination of a high level of knowledge, but also quite an informal working atmosphere, but also the opportunity to sort of plot your own career path, makes people still working for us for now and hopefully also for in the future. I have one last slide to share. It's actually a picture of trainees. Actually, this are a few classes together, which have people who already finished the traineeship, so are doing fulfilling other positions within the company. So in 1st of February, the 10th class, with each twice per year, we have a class of 4 to 5 trainees, has started. So right now we have 40 people that are still currently in the trainee program or have finished the program and moved on to other challenging positions. So it's quite nice to see that, hopefully by the time that PALLAS is ready, we have trained the first new managers. So it's really, really exciting. And therefore I also asked Bregje, just to check, can you is your mic on? Can you join us?
I hope so.
I hope so, yes.
Yeah,
that's a yes.
Perfect.
That's better luck for you. Bregje, welcome. This is actually my last slide because, Bregje, maybe I don't want to steal your introduction, so maybe you can do it yourself, but there's a reason why I invited you today.
Yes, sure. Thank you. It's very nice to have the opportunity to tell you something about the traineeship and what we do and the opportunities we get. I think it's very nice to mention to start is the great thing about the traineeship that there's a lot of room for personal development. We really get sessions and we get an experienced colleague that is assigned as your coach. So you get the opportunity to really work on areas that you want to improve in. So really grow during the traineeship. And in addition, there's also personal development sessions where you have the group you start with. So the trainees that are in your group that can then help each other and help each other grow and learn and become more aware of what you can improve and how you can improve it. Another part of the 3 pillars of the traineeship is the education. We get a lot of courses, a lot of information to add to what we already know and really build a strong background to start. And the last of the 3 pillars is our projects. So you can apply the things you already learned and work on different projects. I always get the question on what a project is and how it's structured. And for me, it's very nice to know that it's very flexible. Just as many people grow in our organization, as Nancy mentioned, you really get the opportunity to structure your own projects and make your own choices. I wrote down some examples. People who are joining the inspection team and will go abroad to help with inspections. There's people doing projects in CFD calculations. There's radiation protection, and I think many, many more that I can go into for a couple of minutes for sure, but I won't. I think it's nice to mention, as for me, that to have you have an idea, the CISPEC video before what was shown internally at our quarterly meeting, and I had the opportunity to moderate that meeting. So you can do very, very wide range of projects, and I learned something new definitely by standing on a podium in front of a lot of people. And tomorrow I'm doing radiation protection work, so it's very, very varied, and you really get to choose and see what fits with your profile and what you're interested to learn and grow in. So I hope I gave you some sort of taste of what the traineeship is and what it looks like.
Thank you so much, Bregje. Maybe to add on that, we do have a lot of trainees within the company, and I've done a lot of interviews as well, of course, to hire trainees. And then there are cases where people during the interview tend to be really enthusiastic about certain work or certain topics. So that happens as well. And then we say, well, then maybe if you really know what you want to do, or you have your interest set, that's when specific positions come into play. So that's sometimes people who apply for a specific position end up in a traineeship, and sometimes vice versa, people who apply for the traineeship end up as an engineer or as a consultant or something else. So that's that's quite interesting as well. There are a lot of possibilities. Yeah.
I think it's also interesting to see that your traineeship lasts for 18 months, because usually what I hear from different companies, it's like up to 6 months max. And of course, that 6 months will allow you to taste a bit what you like to do and what the company is about, but really not understand the full spectrum and really try different things, as Bregje nicely presented. And so I think it's also a beautiful journey and a really nice opportunity, because then you really are, you feel that you learn a lot and you taste different, try different things out that what give you an idea what I want to do after. Yeah, so it's thank you very much for this testimonial, Bregje. Okay, so what's next, Nancy? Tell me. I'm the
Depends a little bit.
moderator,
I can go on and on about working for energy in a company, but maybe it's good to have some, because we are now at the midst of the webinar, and I don't know if you have a lot of questions coming in, but maybe the questions from the audience could be leading on what we dive into. I don't know if you have some questions, Emilia, already in the chat.
For the moment, the group is quite humble, except they expressed, they told us what they're coming from. But yeah, let me just to encourage you once again to put some questions already. To use the chat for this, and we will select, if it's possible, all of them, and I will moderate the questions. So let us continue with the webinar, and I will once again encourage everybody to put some questions. You can put a question on your CV, you can put a question specifically on your profile, you can put a question on energy, on PALLAS, on whatever you think like is important for you to know. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, but I just wanted to add, because you mentioned the trainee program is 18 months. We have a trainee program manager. Her name is Carla Salet, and she says, well, she feels that the trainee program is sort of the master class, which you do after you finish your studies. So her experience is that the first 6 months you get to work with deadlines and work pressure, actually, for the first time. So it means that's really quite an adjustment. And it's a roller coaster, a positive roller coaster, but quite a roller coaster the first 6 months. So then after the 6 months, you have met a lot of people and done your first project. So you've landed sort of a little bit. And then the next 6 months, yeah, of course, you will continue the traineeship. And then what happens the last 6 months, usually trainees start working on projects in teams or business units they have a preference for. So they can also network a little bit for their next job. We actually up to this point, we always have a job opportunity for them available after the traineeship, and it's really different what they do. So some people work as an engineer for one of the engineering departments of the different facilities. Some work as a research consultant. Some work as a teacher on radiation protection or a quality officer. So it's really different what people tend to do. Maybe Bregje, it's quite nice because you will be finishing your traineeship in the summer, and I think you're already talking with a certain with nuclear operations, right? About a next job. Yeah, maybe you can.
Yeah, I'm happy to share some of my experiences through that. So indeed, in the start, you were looking around a bit, getting a feel, getting to know the organization. And then I took on a very big project of the change management coordination. So I was doing a lot of work towards that, and I really enjoyed it. And I got to know a lot of people through that, a lot of engineers who were doing different modifications. So it made me learn the company very quickly and very effectively for me. And it's all within our facilities. And I really enjoyed the work there and the working atmosphere within our facilities. So very soon I started my first talks about what you want to do, how can we really make sure that the things I like, which are quite broad, I'm really more of a generalist than a specialist personally, and make a nice fit and find what we want to do. So I decided to be able to continue working on the change management, but then on a bit of a higher level to see if we can improve the process, if we can make it more efficient, if we need to add or subtract certain things. And it's very interesting. It really has a big impact on people's work. And it's also very important because it's a requirement for authority to have a good system in place. So for me, it's very interesting to see what we can do there. And I'm planning to continue that work as I go into a position.
That's really exciting, Bregje. Thank you so much for explaining that. Maybe Jelmer, recruiter from PALLAS. Is there something you would like to add regarding PALLAS or maybe future opportunities for these young professionals?
Well, Nancy, there's going to be future opportunities, of course, but maybe it's good to emphasize that we are still in the building phase of the whole reactor, and we hope to have it operational by 2030, and that means that we need to have a reactor including an operational organization as well. And of course, that's in cooperation with NRG, since they are currently having an operational organization and a functioning reactor. So yes, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. It's very hard to tell in time when those opportunities will arise and what they will exactly be, but they will be the typical operational jobs that you will find currently at the HFR, for instance. And the phase that we're in right now is more about engineering type of jobs because there's still a lot of detailed engineering going on. There's some emphasis on procurement right now, and there will be more on contracts management as well. When you have people or companies building a reactor for you, you have to be in control. And we think we are an intelligent client, and we have to prove so. So we have to have a lot of expertise on that as well. So that those are more or less the typical jobs that you will find in the near future, or the opportunities arising at PALLAS right now.
Yeah, for sure, Jelmer, as you've mentioned, and as said, Energy and PALLAS are going to merge at the end of this year. And what you can see, for instance, if you are really interested in PALLAS, it's maybe good to add that, for instance, as a trainee, it's not only doing projects for Energy, but you can also be involved as a trainee in projects for PALLAS. So that's also quite interesting as well, I think, to know. Emilia, maybe it's always because if you are going to start at a company, of course you see everything online, like images, videos, information about the vacancy. But I think it's always really hard to grasp what kind of company behind the scenes you're going to work with. So Emilia, you said, for instance, it's also good to tell a little bit about, working atmosphere and other informal things.
Yeah, I think it's a very important factor nowadays, especially for young people, when they are having, also especially in the nuclear sector. Maybe we can stop sharing the screen so I can see.
Yeah, I will.
If you have, and then so I think it's now on one side the young people are quite pragmatic in the sense they want to have a good salary, but also they want to have this work-life balance quite well kept, and also having opportunities for traveling and enjoying life. And I think atmosphere at work is one of the very important also factor. How I can develop, but also what the company offers me to keep me in the house. Nowadays this is what we are also discussing with our colleagues, because we also run a special sessions for the HR managers, and Rogier was on one of them, to hear also the challenges of keeping the staff, keeping the employees in the house, and what would be the trigger for young people to be kept and to let them stay, and also to attract them to come to the office, for example. So it's sometimes this working from home, working from the office, and especially when the location is sometimes challenging or not. I think it's and so traveling to work, it has to be added to the traveling, to the working hours and so on. So yeah, what do you offer for this kind of questions?
Yeah, of course.
Shall I start?
Yeah, for sure. Rogier, please do
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Okay, that's good. Well, I've been working here now for 1 year, so the whole onboarding process and everything is quite fresh for me. So that might be also a good way to start. Yeah, so 1 year ago I started working at NRG. And we always start with an onboarding day. I think that's already the start, of a good career, but also getting to know the company. So we have a few public speakers. We go out for a nice lunch, and there's someone speaking from the board to everyone, and we have a nice walk around the whole campus. So I think that's already a good start, and it's for everyone. Doesn't matter if you are an external or an internal person. So I think that's also says something from the company. That's very nice that they do that. I think furthermore, everybody's very open in their whole job and role. You can always go to someone and ask. And I think that's one of the things that highlighted me most. I said, wow, it's such a, big company with a lot of smart people. Is it okay that I ask a lot because they're also busy, but people intend to be very positive about what they do and really want to talk about it and also learn you a lot. So I think that's very nice. So also coming in as a trainee or a little bit senior level, that doesn't matter. It's a very open organization. And besides that, I mean, the working hours for a lot of positions are also quite flexible. You can work between 7 and 7. Well, for me personally, having a young family, that's also nice to, you know, to sometimes bring the kids to school, yes or not. But I mean, and you can work a little bit until late if you want to catch up a few hours. So yeah, working from home is also an option, not with every position. I mean, if you have to be there as an engineer sometimes with a big project, or as an operator, of course, then you're not allowed to, or you can't work from home. But more or less, a lot of jobs have that flexibility at our site. So I think that's very nice as well. You get also, you get you get also money from working from home. We cover the cost a little bit of your espresso machine or your electricity. So so that's also nice. Yeah, and we talked already a bit about the whole area. I mean, it's quite a unique area. It's a little bit isolated, but maybe only for the Dutch people. I mean, if you are from a larger country like the US or even Turkey or Italy, I mean, Amsterdam is only 45 minutes away with the car. So I think, well, that's all very doable. And luckily, the public transport is getting better and better. So we're really focusing on that to get a better transport from Alkmaar, which is a very nice city, towards the campus. There's a bus going back and forth a couple of times, especially of course in peak hours. They go a bit more often. Yeah, and I think also the climate of doing sports outside. You can go for a nice walk during your lunch, or even a workout. There are showers at the campus, which is nice. And we have a very nice canteen, where you can buy your lunch. It's also not so expensive than going to the city, so they're very deducted the prices. So you can get a hot meal or cold meal or smoothie or whatever. Which is nice. So if you eat during lunchtime a hot meal, you can have a sandwich when you arrive at home. So it makes life sometimes a little bit more easy. We have a nice espresso bar where you can have some chit chats and enjoy the good life as well. You can sit outside when the sun is coming out a bit more, and then you're just surrounded with the dunes. Yeah, I think that's quite nice. A lot of people also arrive with the bicycle. And then that's quite a unique scenery. You're just cycling along the beach, and well, you don't have to be for that in California or Australia, but that's also in the north of Holland. So yeah, I think it's a unique spot with a great variety of people coming from all over the world. So I think that's also very nice to hear when you're having a lunch. There's English, there's Spanish, there's Italians, there's South Africans. All the languages are going back and forth, and well, that makes it also yeah, a nice place to be. So yeah, I think I covered quite a lot, but
You did.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Rogier.
I'm convinced, Rogier.
yeah. Well, I will send you.
After your talk.
I will send you the link of the website, and then we chat after this. Yeah.
No, but it sounds really tempting. So I have to say, especially the biking on during, I mean, along the dunes. It looks, yeah, I visualized already this. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's a very nice, actually insider talk, your story and your perception, especially because you are quite fresh at the energy. So I think it's always nice to hear this. Okay, I see the group is very shy, so I don't know if it's something that's because of a recording or not. So maybe I will suggest that we before we start with the questions, if there are any. So I will. Jelmer, would you like to add something?
Well, it's hard to do better than Rogier, of course. I think it's a very if you look at the whole campus and if you look at my background, then you have sort of a preview of how the campus will look like in a couple of years. There's going to be a real upgrade on that campus, and there's been put a lot of effort in there to make it a real good place to be for startup, for young people with a lot of expertise, a lot of knowledge. So yeah, I think it's almost something like Silicon Valley-like stuff, right? If you look at it, it's going to be really nice. And add to that for PALLAS, of course, it's a new the first nuclear new built in the Netherlands since 1972, I believe. And if you look at PALLAS, there's a lot of nationalities walking around, a lot of expertises, a very entrepreneurial way of dealing with stuff. A really nice atmosphere. Everybody's striving to have that reactor in place by 2030. So that's the good vibe, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess it's just, yeah, the vibe and the excitement of creating something new. So it's just really fantastic to feel it, I guess. So I understand English. It's the main working language.
Depends who you're asking.
At PALLAS, yes.
Okay, correct. At PALLAS, yes. NRG is really a Dutch company. We are, so all of our documentation is in Dutch as well. We have certain teams, a few teams that have quite an international group within the teams, where the meetings are in English, etc. But you can make do, and we do offer Dutch training courses for international people. So it can take a while, depends a little bit on your own effort, but people that have been working for us for a few years now do speak the language and really integrate well in the company. But you can manage, of course. Everybody at Energy speaks English, so you can manage if you would come here as a non-Dutch colleague, for sure.
And a very good English. Okay, maybe David or Bartłomiej, Egem, Ella, Katarzyna. Do you have any questions? Ricardo, Michelle, Nilek. I'm just like picking up from the crowd. But maybe I would suggest that we stop recording for the moment. So thank you very much for this. And then maybe the group will feel more comfortable when we don't record for different reasons. So thank you very much. To just conclude, there was the webinar, ENS webinar, together with energy experts. And we continue with Q&A out of record. So we stop recording.